Bonjour, this is Madame Gibbons, and this is a review presentation on the passé composé. To begin with, we're going to just talk about what the passé composé is and what it communicates. So beginning in the middle, if I say je parle, and the ear's there to kind of remind you of the pronunciation, if in je parle, I'm communicating something that's happening now. When I say je vais parler, that's something that's going to happen in the future. But when I say j'ai parlé in the passé composé, that's something that has happened in the past. So just one more time, note the difference between j'ai parlé and je parle. Okay, it should really sound different. The other thing that's very, very important and fundamental about the passé composé is it's a two-part verb. So whether I say j'ai parlé, tu es allé, elles sont parties, in each case, you have one verb that's only correct if it's expressed with two words. Okay, sont partis. Okay, and then here's how we do the passé composé in its simplest form. So we have this side over here, so you need one of these and one of these. Excuse me. Okay, so if you look over on the left, you have j'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, on a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. So you have just the verb avoir conjugated in the present tense. So you have to start with that correct. And then we take our participe passé. So I've divided it up into 4 groups, different resources divided up differently. But what we know for sure is that all regular ER verbs are going to conjugate like this. So you have the participe passé that way. All IR verbs are going to conjugate like this. They're just going to go to I at the end. And then all RE verbs are going to conjugate like this. So that's for the regular verbs. There are other verbs, though, that are irregular that could also fall into those groups based on the endings. So être becomes été, rire becomes ri, lire, boire, voir, and recevoir all also have this U ending. So lu, bu, vu, reçu. And then we have some others that are a little bit different. So avoir becomes U, faire becomes fait, ouvrir becomes ouvert, couvrir becomes couvert, etc. Any verb that ends in UIRE, so conduire, produire, construire, they're all going to have this similar ending, UIT. Prendre becomes pris, that's a frequently missed one. Mettre becomes mis, dire becomes dit, and écrire becomes écrit. But notice that dit and écrit end with a T, pris and mis end with an S. Okay, so in the most basic form, any of these verbs right here, this is it. You take this side and this side and you're done. Okay, we can also, you can expand your vocab and grammar knowledge this way. If we know that prendre becomes pris in its participe passé, then comprendre would become compris. Apprendre, appris. Surprendre, surpris. Okay, if rire becomes ri, then sourire becomes souris. Ouvrir becomes ouvert, so then couvrir becomes couvert. Découvrir becomes découvert. And when we do this in the negative, notice that on this side of the verb, nothing has changed. All we're doing is adding the ne pas around our helping verb. Okay, so we're going to pause there and do the next section in a new video.